Draws me to stories that I want to direct is that initial read and how it emotionally grabs me. It's all about the character journey. And once you have that attachment, something that this material is trying to say, then you wrap it in this big action ride. Jason Statham is our modern day Steve McQueen. He is as authentic as it gets. It's why he's such a global movie star. This interesting portrayal of Michael Mason, a man that really can't speak the truth. He's not a man who is bitter and cold and has shut himself out of society by choice. He's doing it to protect others and to not bring this young girl into his storm. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. And now he has to be that guardian, that protector of her. It really grabbed me, the mystery and how it unfolded. The fact that we don't even know our hero's name for literally 30 to 40 minutes in the movie. And the way that this young girl shows up with her uncle and are bringing him supplies on a weekly basis. And she can see that he's not this cold individual, that there's something of empathy with him. And suddenly the world is at play. And it's a dangerous world. And we go on this big gauntlet run as the hounds are coming, and they're coming in full force. I think this character is such an interesting portrayal for Jason Statham. We usually come into these movies and he's kicking butt right away. We see him as a man of action, and yet we strip him of all that. And we really play into this internal psyche of abandonment until this young little catfish enters his life by chance and becomes that spark that he needs to wake up and remember and stop surviving and stop being in exile, but actually living again. It was such a great ride with Jason from day one because we spoke the truth to one another about the pitfalls, the things that we thought could get better. And what you get with Jason Statham is he's living and breathing it 24/7, not just when he's on camera, but off camera. What I love about Shelter is that we're gonna give audiences their cake and they're gonna eat it too, because what they're gonna get is a big action ride. We pull no punches, and it is Jason Statham at his finest. But what you're going to see is a human being as well that is playing with great integrity and emotional jeopardy throughout and doing it in a very honest and sincere way. There were a number of young girls that were tested, I mean hundreds. And I remember seeing this girl, Bodhi Ray Brannick. I knew nothing about her, but what I saw in her eyes was a deep soul. You can hire all the best actors in the world. You can get every Academy Award winner on set and put them in a room, and that does not mean that you have chemistry. And there was no disputing Jason and Bodhi. In fact, the minute it was over, Jason and I looked at each other, and that look in our eyes was like, what do we do from here? Because that's our girl. It's this gauntlet run to stay ahead of the hounds. They come upon this farmhouse, and it's to get a car, to get transportation, and then they're attacked again. And when we have this car chase that leaves the farmhouse, I wanted it to be reminiscent of, again, maybe I'm dating myself, but I wanted it to feel 70s. I wanted it to feel like what we had back in The French Connection and Bullet. I'm not gonna have the audience watch the action. I want them to participate. I want them to be inside the action. We are inside the car with Michael Mason, getting shot at, getting hit, being attacked, with a young child in the back seat that he knows is in jeopardy, in harm's way, and doing everything he can to outrun it. What I wanted the nightclub sequence to represent is that metaphor of a man that is still trying to shelter the world from the darkness that keeps following him. And we've been experiencing it with him with one individual, Jesse. Now I wanted to put hundreds of people in jeopardy. It was about watching how he can defend himself, try to defend Jesse without losing her, and also keep these innocent lives out of the gunfire. and take down these bad guys at the same time. And then to lose Jesse and have to find your way out of this place and go find that needle in a haystack to get her back. And that there's nothing else on earth that matters at this given point than to get this child out of harm's way and to get her back under your shelter. I just can't stand sound stages. They always feel fake to me. You don't have the same life as real locations. And so I'm always pushing to go out into the real environments. And sometimes that costs more money and it's more grueling, but authenticity breeds authenticity. When you put people into the real thing, there's a different energy and a different feel to what the actors can capture. But it's not only the actors, it's the camera operators, it's everybody, where you feel like it's all being done for real because it is real. When you're doing a lighthouse attack on the cliffs of the North Sea, well, we're doing an attack on the cliffs of the North Sea for real, in a real environment. When there's a shootout in a major nightclub and onto the streets of London, that's because it's for real. That authenticity is very, very important to me. So the DNA of the movie going from the Scottish Isles down into the streets of London, there was nowhere else I was going to film this but in the United Kingdom and do it for real in the real places. What I hope you take away when you go and see Shelter is that first and foremost, you just experienced a 2-hour visceral action ride and you were immersed in it. And most importantly, you were also emotionally gripped and fell in love with these characters. And then walking out of the theater talking about how important it is, what is right or wrong, when there's so many versions of everybody's opinions and everybody's different agendas. And that at the end of the day, that all that matters is our hope and love for one another, and that when we have that connection, it's something that we never want to lose.